Welcome everybody for another stream. We're not doing the modern challenge today, we're instead taking a classic green-black rock list through a modern league. Now, I suppose it's not really a classic list anymore because we are playing Lurrus of Dream Den as our Pokemon slash companion for this league, but when it comes to modern rock at the moment, this really does constitute classic. A couple of things to note: we've got the full playset of Hex Drinker, Tarmogoyf and Dark Confidant here, along with 2 Scavenging Ooze to round out our full creature suite. But obviously, because we are a Lurrus deck, we're playing the 4 copies of Mishra's Bauble. We're playing a 4-4 combination of Inquisition of Kozilek and Thoughtseize as our discard package, and removal wise we're looking at a full playset of Fatal Push, 2 Abrupt Decay, 2 Maelstrom Pulse, and something that's a little bit of a spicy include is 2 copies of Heartless Act. Obviously it just actually Doomblade in sort of like as one mode, functions very simply from that aspect. The other option that it has on it, or the other mode rather, is to remove 3 counters from target creature, with Heliod being the de facto best deck from challenge results anyway in the format. Picking something main deck that's not too narrow, like Deglammer or the Beetle that stops counters being put on or something like that. These cards are really narrow. This is our concession. Playing something that is on face value still a moderately good rate, 2 mana, kill a creature, but also has the secondary text on it here, which is to remove counters, so it stops Walking Ballista, it stops Spike Feed. It also has some pretty good incidental uses against Hardened Scales and other sort of decks where they're trying to put 1/1 counters on things, but it is a concession that unfortunately as a black base mid-range deck we do have to make. The mana base is interesting as well because we are not as heavy green typically as you would expect a Blackrock deck to be. We're also playing 2 manlands in the form of Treetop Village. We have had to go with a single copy of Urborg. Now the reasoning behind that is for no other reason that we've just got to ensure, whilst playing 4 copies of Field of Ruin, 2 Treetop Villages, that our very heavy black dependent main deck and sideboard with Brutalities and Lurrus are something that we can reliably get access to. So, what to expect from this? As you can see, with Ghost Quarters, 4 Field of Ruin, Assassin's Trophy in the sideboard, we're geared up pretty heavily to combat against big mana, mainly Tron, the 4-colour control deck that's sort of like a Scapeshift hybrid, as well as the Titan decks. That's really what these sideboard cards are. They're a concession entirely for that. The Veil of Summer is pretty self-explanatory. That's for control. I don't tend to bring it in against other discard decks because for the most part we just want to load up as much as possible and just beat them with what is an exceptionally efficient suite of removal and creatures. I've got 1 Spellbomb in the main because obviously we can loop it with Lurrus. I've got 2 in the side because graveyard decks, well, the ones in the format at the moment aren't ones that we are particularly good against. Dredge is not a fantastic matchup. The Seal of Primordium is a bit of a spicy include. It's just something that we can recur with Lurrus. It's some artifact and enchantment hate that doesn't get targeted by Skyclave if you want to go down that route, for something like Spellbomb and if we were playing the Shadow Spear, then this would also be a way to kill Heliod. Unfortunately, I have cut it in favour of a 3rd Brutality, just because it's one Shadow Spear wasn't enough to reliably find with Lurrus, 2 was a bit too many and hard to justify in the main deck with only 14 creatures and a lot of removal. So I decided to make the concession, take them out, put a Seal and a Collective Brutality in, and go up a Deglammer as well in favour of the 2nd EE. Deglammer alongside Seal of Primordium is something that I want because we're playing 2 Deglammer, which are fantastic against Heliod, but not too great against a lot of other artifact or enchantment decks. The Seal is something that I wanted to include so that we did have a recurable answer to enchantments and artifacts in the sideboard that we could get with Lurrus that allowed us to then play these Glamours more efficiently, I suppose, or with at least less downside. Assassin's Trophy, it's a good catch-all. I don't think in a black base mid-range deck you can really leave home without them. Whether they should be in the side or not, and some people prefer one in the main, one in the side. I think I like to keep two in the side and then just rely on our consistency. I think is the word I'd like to use, consistency in game one. Ghost Quarter and E I've already talked about, pretty self-explanatory. So with that out of the way, let's jump into a Modern League and see what they've got in store for us. Over the past, I'd say, 10 leagues or so, I've faced an inordinate amount of Blue-Red Prowess, Dredge, Amulet Titan, and quite a lot of Blue-White Control. So it's very sort of 2018 style Magic, but today we're playing against, for, what is it, Nicholas 0507, so it's a good luck, have fun to him. Reveal Lurrus as our Pokemon. Okay, the opponent is not revealing a companion and keeping 7. We've got perfect mana, no threat, a removal spell, 2 discard. I think we can find one, so I'm happy to keep this. See what we've got in store. So it looks like we're against Burn, so we are phenomenally punished for this keep. Oh, it's Prowess, so couldn't be too bad. Okay, as I was saying just before this, I faced a lot of Blue-Red Prowess. So I'm going to get a Swamp here, minimise the loss that we're taking from our mana base. Inquisition here. Let's see what we hit. Wow, so this is a stacked hand from our opponent. Okay, looks like they were relying on this light up the stage in order to find a second land. So we've got answers in hand for the 3 creatures in the form of 2 discard spells and a Fatal Push. I'm not bothered about the Lightning Bolt. So if they don't find a land next turn, they'll probably just Swift Spear. If they do, they'll play out Sprite Dragon, or they might be forced to Soul Scar, then Light Up. So attack with Soul Scar. I'm going to take Light Up the stage. I think that's the most sensible and defendable one. So we get to see, do they find the second land? So the Swift Spear there, it looks like they didn't. So we find a Treetop Village, which we're not going to be playing. Not for a while. I do want to Inquisition again, because I want to take one of these Sprite Dragons. So we can push either the Soul Scar or the Swift Spear. So I'm going to lead with a Inquisition. Get as much information as possible. Okay, so we've got a Lava Dart, Lightning Bolt, 2 Sprite Dragons. Interesting. We could take the Bolt, then they've got some very anemic beats coming for the next few turns. If they find a land, this Lava Dart does convert into quite a lot of damage over time. We could take both of the Sprite Dragons here for shocking in 4 damage, go down to 13 to do it. I think I'm interested in taking the Bolt, pushing the Swift Spear. The other option is to Catacombs, get another Swamp, Thoughtseize, take. So if we take one Sprite Dragon, we should take the other. If we take a spell, then we should really take the other. We've only got one Fatal Push. We've got another discard. I think we have to take the Sprite Dragon. Get another Swamp and Thoughtseize away the other one. Opponent does get to gain for a bit of damage here. Maybe 7, which is quite a lot. but hopefully if we draw either Fatal Push or Abrupt Decay, any removal spell will be able to utilise it unless they've drawn a Light Up the Stage off the top, which it looks like they have. Okay, it's not the worst, but it's not great. I definitely feel vindicated for taking those Sprite Dragons now. And our opponent finds third, so we've got a Goyf here. We go to 10, play a chump blocker. They can't, it's well out of bolt range at this stage. I think I'm interested in doing that. So I'm going to shock in a Overgrown Tomb, play the Tarmogoyf, hold up Fatal Push for this Sprite Dragon, or a Soulscar Mage if they decide to point the bolt at the Tarmogoyf. Okay, looks like they're going to try and bolt the Goyf here. Yep, so in response we're going to Fatal Push the Soulscar Mage. And just waste some of our opponent's mana and time. Okay, Goyf's a 4/5 now with 3 damage marked on it. No -1/-1 counters thanks to the Soulscar Mage. Okay, so we're getting in for what I assume is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Just gonna get in for 3, okay. They might be going for the flashback here on the Swift Spear, unless they've drawn a... Oh no, we know what their hand is, so just gonna block here. Yep, so they're going for the kill on the Goyf. Let's find one removal spell and we are good to go here. If not, we're putting lures into our hand, playing the Treetop Village, or we could just play another Tarmogoyf. It's not too bad right there. Yeah, so we'll just set up again. Hope we can fade a spell off the top from our opponent. Okay, another Sprite Dragon off the top. So this is now a 2-turn clock, whereas before it was a 3-turn. Maelstrom Pulse would be the perfect draw. Field of Ruins not ideal. So we can take them off double blue, which isn't particularly helpful. Attack with Treetop Village, we can... There's no way to grow the Goyf from what I'm seeing. We can get him for 7, put him onto a 2-turn clock. I think the best thing is to thin the deck, get a forest here. I should have hit the steam vents actually now I think about it, but because that's a mountain. Okay, one attack from my opponent, we're dead. Okay, yep. Always got to play to those outs, so we want collective brutalities here. Definitively. I do like keeping one Maelstrom Pulse in. I'm not a huge fan of keeping all of the Thought Seizers in. Trophy could be good. Say another answer to Stormwing Entity. They usually play 2 basics and no islands, so I quite like doing that. Bob can be a bit risky here, but I do just like getting as much removal as possible, so I'm going to bring in an EE Possibly over the spell bomb. Does cycle. Mitigates the impact of their lava darts. Yeah, I'll keep it like that. Keep it simple. So we'll take the play here. Reveal Luris. Wow, this is not a fantastic hand, but it is quite a pain-free mana base. No discard, no removal, relying heavily on Dark Confidant. Yeah, it's a mulligan. Okay, so we've got a no turn 1 green or black source. No interaction. The opponent's mulliganing 6 as well. We've been relying on draw from Mishra's Bauble, then the next draw step. We'd have 2 looks at a land, play 23 in the deck, so it's not too difficult or not unheard of. What would we bottom? We'd probably have to bottom Bob or Assassin's Trophy, I think. I'm going to risk this. I'm going to bottom the Assassin's Trophy. Am I? No, I'm going to send Bob back. We play Treetop Village, bauble our opponent, and see what we draw. So our opponent is drawing a basic mountain. It means we get to strip mine them with one of these two. They only play 2 typically. And no turn 1 play from them. Unfortunately, we also fade the swamp or fetch land. See if we're drawing it next turn, we know what to... Okay, we are next turn, so... With that in mind, I think it's probably incentivized to run out the Hex Drinker, see if we can eat a Lava Dart or something, knowing that we have Luris and some pretty good equity here. Next turn we'll be able to fetch Shock. Okay, that eats a bolt, that's pretty good, considering our meager hand. So next turn we'll be able to use Catacombs, probably get a Swamp, or we could kill a Sky. Yeah, Sky, is it Swift? That's it. Stormwing. I hate this card so much. Just such a good rate. So for 2 men. What do you want? Hey Nat, what do you want? Ah. No.
No, I need more. It doesn't matter.
Alright guys, I'll be back in 2 seconds. There we go, apologies for that, that was my fault there. So we're going to play out the Swamp. The opponent scryed 2 to the top. Yeah, it's a good shout, Dan. Also, hello and welcome to the stream. Yeah, they scryed 2 to the top, so I'm going to be doing that. And to get rid of the hard to deal with threat, it's our only decent answer to it anyway. Okay, so they failed to find, so we know they've got one in hand, so... Or they had one in hand, so they might be only playing one basic. Which means this Field of Ruin could get some nice value later on. Hey Ben, how are we getting on? How did your stream go today? A Fetch Shock down to 17 from our opponent as they opt. Hopefully we're not going to see another Stormwing. But it looks like we are. It's a shame. So we can play Field of Ruin. If we don't draw anything way to deal with them, they put 2 more cards on top. If we don't find a way to deal with the Stormwing entity, we can at least make them shuffle that away, which I am interested in doing. I'm going to hit the Steam Vents. It's got the Mountain type just in case they draw any Lava Darts. Get another Swamp here. And I'll be casting Brutality with 2 modes. So we'll be draining them and using the Duress mode. Another Grad Oxenfurt. Oh, we got the one to kill Radovid. Best leave that one for a while. It's quite a difficult quest. It's a very good one as well. There's a lot of different ways you can go down it, and it affects the story quite heavily. It's one of the few side quests where, okay, we're definitely taking that light up the stage. Yeah, it's one of the few side quests where it has like some huge impacts in terms of changing the entire sort of end story of the game, or at least the impact that you have on it. I've liked that one. It's also got some interesting interactions from Witcher 2 to Witcher 3 with returning characters and whatnot. Okay, so got the Overgrown Tomb here, so we'll put Lurrus into hand. We'll shock in this Overgrown Tomb, unfortunately, and push the Soulscar Mage now. Yeah, also to answer your question, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. So there's Stomping Us, which is an interesting include in Blue-Red Prowess. I've not seen Bone Crusher Giant played recently. Some slightly older tech. Okay, so we now do have an answer to the Stormwing entity, which is nice. So we're going to play the Lurrus, get a Mishra's Bauble back from the graveyard, start drawing some extra cards. I'm going to bauble them, just some information and Vapor Snow. Okay, so that's good to know about. Hexdrink is a fantastic draw. Try and make them waste that Aether Gust. I assume they're going to Vapor Snag here. No. So we'll get rid of the Stormwing entity. Okay, so they're going to save that and replay it. It's essentially a fog, which I can definitely live with. We know their only card in hand is an Aether Gust, so this is a free attack. I don't mind trading a Lurrus for a Stormwing, knowing that we've got Hexdrinker in the graveyard that we can recur beforehand, and we've got one in hand. That's certainly good, so we can Hexdrinker, 3 levels on it, and Inquisition. So we'll start with the Inquisition, get that out of their hand. that. Play the Hex Drinker from our graveyard. Offer the trade with the Storming entity, which I think they are incentivized to take. Puts us up to a slightly healthier 14 anyway. There are no Lava Darts in their graveyard, so we don't have to worry about any surprise Prowess triggers. This Bone Crusher could be a pain, which is why I think we do have to Hex Drinker before Bauble, draw extra cards. Try and make this into a 4-4 and then eventually a 6-6 and just race. If they take this, we should be able to definitively race them. We'll be able to make it a... Yes, we'll make it a 6-6 protection from everything next turn. Okay. So by doing this, I don't believe they've got an answer in their deck to a protection from instant. It's both 8th August, Vapor Snag are double bolt. Obviously, I'm not sure they've got any way to remove it at sorcery speed, but I could be wrong. Okay, that's the Bone Crusher that we knew about. And Arid Mesa was their draw for turn. Okay. They don't know about either of these. There is a temptation to offer the double trade. Could make Hex Drinker into a 6-6 pro everything, which they can't answer. Then we would be taking 4 on the crackback, maximum 7 with a lightning bolt off the top. We could still race that. We could Treetop Village and swing out the Hex Drinker, offer the trade with either of them, then play out another Hex Drinker and Bob. I quite like that line actually. So I'm going to do that. So I play out the Hex Drinker or Bob. Yep. I'm going to play out Bob. He is the most must kill. Is we can get the Hex Drinker down next turn and make it into a 4-4 and then start off where we were. If they draw any bolt effects, they have to save them. It means we're definitely getting in with the Treetop for some damage next turn. So Manamorphose for Desperation, hopefully no Stormwing. That's a good sign. Just a Sprite Dragon. It's a pretty good draw from our opponent. So Bob reveals a Tarmogoyf and another Bob, okay. So we can deploy a 5-6 Goyf, make a 4-4 Hex Drinker, hit them down to 8 now, and then present lethal in a number of different ways. So we'll go Hex Drinker, Tarmogoyf, level it up. So what would be the worst sequence of draws for our opponents? So they could go Manamorphose into, I would say Manamorphose into Light Up the Stage, but Light Up the Stage is pretty good on its own. Wow. Into Stormwing and Vapor Snag. We'll see what our opponent wants to do here. So we can make Hex Drinker a 4-4. We can attack with Treetop Village, so they have to block Treetop or Goyf. Vapor Snag on the Hex Drinker isn't fantastic, but it doesn't mean the Sprite Dragon can then block and trade with the Treetop Village. then still got to deal with the Tarmogoyf. Stormwing Entity has to be a chump blocker. They can't attack with the Sprite Dragon easily. Opponent's in quite a difficult spot here. So I'm just waiting to see how they scry. So they have put both those cards to the bottom. Decided not to get in with the Sprite Dragon and have 2 blockers. Maybe they're hoping we die to our own. Yep, die to our own Bob, but we're not going to do that today. So we can Brutality here, give the Sprite Dragon -2/-2 to kill it and drain our opponent down to 6. If we pitch the other Bob, then we can play a land, level up Hex Drinker, and swing with the Treetop Village. Okay, I like that. So let's get a swamp here. Go down to 8, which will be then going up to 10. So just make recounts, that's 2, 1, 2. Yep, that's fine. So -2/-2 and drain. Give that there. Discarding our Dark Confidant. Activate the Treetop Village. Forcing the block on the Tarmogoyf, but then we have lethal. So I don't think there's configuration that gets them out of it. Okay. On to game number 3. I still don't like the Veil of Summer against them, even though they have shown us both Aether Gust and Vapor Snag. I think we're better just having a critical mass of removal spells. That's 11. Brutality sort of fits in between that. Don't like any more of the addition, or any more than 2 Nihil spell bombs. Declamer's useless. Seal of Primordium's useless. Maelstrom Pulse is an answer to Storming Entity besides Assassin's Trophy and Heartless Act, but I don't know if we want another 3-mana removal spell. I like the configuration as we've got it at the moment. So the double Treetop definitely pulling in work in both these games so far. Okay, a little bit removal light, but plenty of discard. We can go Inquisition into Brutality or Bob. Opponent's keeping 7. I think it's risky but justifiable. Let's see what we've got from our opponent. They're just leading on Spirebluff Canal and Monastery Swiftspear. Not too shabby. That's fair. I can. Yeah. Is it better than a 4th Bob? Quite possibly. I quite like the idea of just being able to grind out, and then you can always use Bob for fodder if we need to. We have drawn a Verdant Catacomb, so I'm going to get a swamp here. Minimises life loss as much as humanly possible. We may want to Hex Drinker next turn, but let's Inquisition, see what they've got. Okay, we have a Lava Dart, double Sprite Dragon, and Vapor Snag. So next turn they'll play Mountain, Sprite Dragon, in which case we'll be able to Brutality, take either Vapor Snag, probably not a Lava Dart or another spell, whilst killing the Sprite Dragon. Okay, that's not too bad. I'll take a Sprite Dragon here. We could even 3-mode if we wanted to and drain them, which I think is something we could look to do. So play the Mountain that we know about. Play play the Sprite Dragon that we know about as they get in for 2. Let's see what we draw here. Another Brutality. Okay. So I'm going to 3-mode this. So 1, 2, 3. going to get rid of the Hex Drinker, knowing that we've got Lurrus, and I'm going to get rid of probably. I want the third land for Lurrus. I'm not sure I want the Inquisition actually. Yeah, get rid of the Inquisition. And probably Dark Confidant. We can get it back with Lurrus if we need to, but I think this removal sweeping able to next turn put Lurrus into hand or kill something if we need to. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of Bob. I think that's a defendable line. Gives our life total pretty high. We get to. We've only got one. I've only got 2 mountains, so now the Field of Ruin is a strip mine. The Assassin's Trophies just kill a creature. Okay, I think I'm going to Vapor Snag. Yeah, take the Vapor Snag. So the hand is Mountain and Lava Dart. Okay. So they're just firing that off. That's fine. I think that means they've got either F Stormwing or Light Up. Okay, that means we get access to a green source quite easily here, so we can. So, 3 options I think. We could put Lurrus into hand with no Bauble in the graveyard. I don't think that's fantastic, and it's just sort of setting up. We could Field of Ruin them off blue, and then play out a Hex Drinker. We could play out a Swamp, Collective Brutality, kill the Swift Spear, and drain them, pitching the Overgrown Tomb, knowing that we've got access to green through the Field of Ruin. Or just play the Overgrown Tomb tapped, get rid of the Swamp. I quite like that. So we'll go tapped for the Overgrown Tomb, 2 mode on the Brutality. Go. Actually, I'm not going to do that because I just realised they can flashback Lava Dart. Feel pretty silly doing that now. Well, that does force them to do it. It means they go down a mountain. And then we are about to strip mine them next turn when they get a Steam Vents. That was a bit of a misplay, but I'm still going to do it. Yeah. So now they have to flash back the Lava Dart, sacrificing a mountain. Yeah. But saves 1 damage, well 2 damage with the Prowess trigger. We go back up to 15. So there's the Manamorphose that we know about. We're going to use the Arid Mesa to get a Steam Vents and hopefully fade a Stormwing entity. Yeah. Exactly, and that's now. 9, we would have been on 7 instead. We can get to Inquisition here, see what they've drawn. We can tag a creature potentially. And then just play out a Hex Drinker. The other option is just to strip mine, get a green source, play out a Hex Drinker. Not too interested in that. We've still got Lurrus to sit on. As well, if they've got an instant to play, forces them to do it now, which gains us more equity in terms of wasting their Prowess triggers. So it looks like they've got a Bolt effect or a Lava Dart potentially. Yeah, Lava Dart. Okay. Force them to use it on the Hex Drinker. Next turn we'll put Lurrus into hand. Yep. So we take 2 instead of 3 here. Need a big draw off the top. Tarmogoyf would be huge. Baubles are not bad. Let's see what we're drawing. Another field. So we can take them. We can remove their lands if we really wanted to, but let's just get Lurrus into play next turn. We are dead to any bolt off the top, which is a shame, but Wild Slash, that does it. Draws in line up. That misplay with the brutality did us in there. What are we drawing? That would have done it. It's a difficult matchup, Prowess, but I think that's the first time I've lost to it on rock in a couple of weeks. But Dan, how goes things over on your side of the pond this morning? It was a close match, yeah. I do think you were probably correct there to put the second, or to keep the second pulse in over the Dark Confidant. Now I think about it, for the most part, I mean, it did win us game 2, but any creature would have done that. So would have a pulse. So let's see what we've got this time. Against Bruno Pardini. Take the play. Again, a bit creature-like. We've got a lot of redraws and an Inquisition. I like this. You just think you have to accept that these hands are just something that you've got to deal with when you're playing rock. Surrounded by sleepy cats and dogs. That is the dream. That is the dream. It's been a while since you posted any cute cats or dog pics in the pet channel on the Grim Discord, so I do believe we are owed a pet tax. Just gonna bauble them. Okay, so they are Dredge. That is very good to know about. Any ideas why Guy isn't able to chat in here? Let's have a look. So I'm taking a Shriek Corn here anyway, but I've not got him listed in the chat at the moment. I can't see it, so I'm just gonna do. Yeah, okay, that's popped up for me. Is it potentially, is he logged in? No, that sounds daft, but... No, I'm not sure, I can't see any reason why he shouldn't be able to. I'm just refreshing the chat now. So we've got the tapped Dakmor Salvage from our opponent. We know they've got 2 Shriek Corns in hand. Life from the Loam and a Stinkweed Imp. So I'm going to play out the Catacombs here. There is an argument for playing out the Spell Bomb, but I'm going to play out the Catacombs, get an Overgrown Tomb tapped, and then yeah, there's no point exposing the Spell Bomb too early, see if we can catch them out. We've got to push for any of their creatures that slip by, any Narcomoebas or something like that. So there's the first Shriek Corn. I assume they're going to do it on second main phase, which I think is usually good practice from Dredge. Nope. Okay. I'll be on ours, sorry, not on theirs. You know, they only have one they only had one land, so let's run out the spell bomb now. Run out the Blooming Marsh whilst we can. Hold up field and draw off spell bomb. Opponent's probably cursing us right now. Okay, Creeping Chill. I'm not going to waste a spell bomb fizzling that. Okay, got a Blood Gas from our opponent. Let's see, we'll see the Shriekhorn here if there isn't a second land. There we go. Okay, so no land from our opponent. A Field of Ruin, I'm going to put Lurrus into hand. Hold up, fail push, hold up, spell bomb. Double Cathartic Reunion, that's a shame for our Dredge opponent there. Some exceptionally unlucky mills here. So, last counter off the first Shriekhorn, Forgotten Cave, and Bloodstained Mire, still no Dredger. Okay, we've got a Prized Amalgam and a Thug, so I think that's the cue here. Get to tag a Dredger, a Prized Amalgam, and a Bloodghast, knowing that their hand is at least a Stinkweed Imp and 1 life from the low. Get to draw a card. Next turn we'll be able to play Lurrus and get back the Spell Bomb, and that should lock them pretty hard from any shenanigans for a while. Okay, there's the second land. It's not green, so it doesn't unlock the life from the low. Okay, so I don't really want to Inquisition them here. Put Lurrus into play. Play a Swamp. Get back a Spell Bomb, which will just start cycling whilst keeping their graveyard in check. And yeah, opponent's seen enough. That's pretty hard for Dredge to come out from underneath. So we're going to bring in both of these Spell Bombs here. Take out a Field of Ruin in favour of a... that's daft. They only play 2 basics anyway, usually are just mountains. What don't we like here? Pulse got a lot of value against Prized Amalgams and Narcomoebas here. Decay's interesting. Doesn't hit the Ox of Agonis though, which is a bit of a pain. Push isn't fantastic. Do prefer an E. And what else we got? Brutality's fine, but if we're on the draw, you know, they're playing the Cathartic Reunion on turn 2, our turn 1, we can't really tag it. You know, you want Inquisition and Thoughtseize for that. I think it might be a consideration to bring in Assassin's Trophy. They do sometimes play Leyline of the Void, sorry, Leyline of Sanctity in Dredge lists. So bringing in an Assassin's Trophy, just one more way to destroy it. Certainly better than Fatal Pushes. Hey Ben, how are we getting on? With that in mind, we've got the Skoos, there's 3 Spell Bombs. Very tempted to swap Assassin's Trophy for a Heartless Axe, just for that same reasoning. Hits Leyline, hits Ox. Actually no, I'll keep the Heartless Axe in, I'll take out an Abrupt Decay. Yeah, not too bad, thanks mate, not too bad. Just avoiding the challenge today, just taking a nice relaxed league, well, run through with Rock. Unfortunately we had Blue-Red Prowess and then Dredge, so you know, not too calm and stress-free, but for the most part, not bad matchups. The Blue-Red Prowess matchup was very close. We just couldn't find a way to close out the game in Game 3 quick enough. Well, it's not perfect, but it's not far off. We've got Spell Bomb, Inquisition, Thoughtseize, and a Bob, which I'm absolutely in favour of. The opponent goes to 6. You can chat on mobile. How we doing, guy? Let's see if I can try to lock me out. I mean, it's the first thing that I did was thought, you know what, this Geek Cat Land guy is pretty dodgy. I don't think I want him anywhere near my stream. I think it's understandable. Yes, a little less stress than a challenge. That's the one. We're going to Inquisition here, see if we can tag a Cathartic Reunion or something of the like. Unfortunately, we unlock their hand, which is always the risk. So he keeps coming back. That's the one. So we have fallen into the classic trap when you're on mid range of going discard spell against your Dredge opponent. So Stinkweed Imp, Dredge 5, Life in the Loam, Dredge 3. There's no choice. We've got a life. If we'd have Thoughtseize, we'd have been able to take the Ox, but we'll unlock their hand and regret our decisions. The advantage of here, if they do whiff on the Life from the Loam Dredge, we have got the Spell Bomb, so it's not too bad. But the cat came back the very next day. The cat came back. He just wouldn't stay away. Very true. So they miss with their Dredge. They get a lowly Narcomoeba and a Nature's Claim. They do get the Stinkweed in. So let's get a Swamp. I'm going to Thoughtseize away the Ox of Agonis. Get rid of that. And then I'll play out the Spell Bomb. So we'll let them dredge the Stinkweed Imp if they want to. If they whiff on it, that's fine. We know they haven't got a second land, so it's a big whiff from our opponent. They have got the Ancient Grudge, but I don't think they want to be using that now. Because they are missing lands as well, actually, they might want to just fire off the Grudge to stop us from drawing a card. Because next turn we're just going to shock in an Overgrown Tomb, play a Dark Confidant, and then we'll probably have to draw a card with the Spell Bomb. If I were them right now, I would seriously consider using this Ancient Grudge. Yeah. Opponent agrees. Okay, so back to a bit of a stalemate as we're on a 16 turn clock from a lowly Narcomoeba. But we do get to, we can put Lurrus into hand. That'll just actually help with the decisions. If we can draw an Abrupt Decay or an Assassin's Trophy Maelstrom Pulse, any of those would be nice. Let's see what we're drawing. Another Dark Confidant. Okay, happy to avoid that. So we've got 3 options. We can put Lurrus into hand. No equity with a Leyline of the Void out, so I don't think that's really on the cards. We can play Dark Confidant and the Hex Drinker with no levels on it, just to try and dig towards an Assassin's Trophy for this Leyline. Hex Drinker, if we had 4 lands, then I think I'd play that out, make it a 4-4 and then just start clocking, but I'm going to take a risk. Get Bob down. Get the Hex Drinker down. Just imagine if we could gain control of his ley lines. Whew. Yeah, I agree, Ben. I just sort of suggested it as a plan, as a play that you did have available, but not something that we're really interested in doing whilst they've got it out. Probably going to get in for 1 here. We'll level up, if we don't draw anything interesting, we'll level up Hex Drinker, get in for 6. So, opponent is going on the old school way. Oh, look at that. Oh wow, look at these draws. So, so we can turn him into 4-4 and Spell Bomb, or we can Trophy on their end step. Yeah, discussion point. So, we get in for 6, shock in, play a spell bomb, then we are really at risk from dying to our own Dark Confidant. If we get in for 6, we can put them on a 3-turn clock. I think it's worth just levelling up twice, playing out the spell bomb. I'm going to risk it. Let's see if they've got a way to remove it. I don't think they do. At instant speed, they tend not to see any bolt effects out of Dredge, so let's make Hex Drinker a 4-4. We'll get in for 6, and we'll start to really clock our opponent. We're not playing the second Bob, so there's nothing to worry about there. I don't think there's a sequence where we have to worry about holding up Assassin's Trophy if we're playing out the spell bomb, so let's leave that one there. Show the opponent the spell bomb. We may have a Nature's Claim for it, but no. It is vulnerable to Lightning Axe, but with the spell bomb, I feel quite safe. So now they're going to Life from the Loam back the Bloodstained Mire, I assume. Okay, so I'm going to let that go. So I'd rather tag the Life from the Loam with the spell bomb. So we're going down to 8 here. So this is a 2-turn clock. Regardless, we should be able to just level up Hex Drinker once, assuming that we don't get a... Look at that, only lands. No, nothing to worry about. So so we could make it a 6-6, I don't think there's any value in doing that. Hit them down to 5 here, we can hold up Heartless Act, Assassin's Trophy and the Spell Bomb. And then next turn make Hex Drinker into a 6-6 just by, so we go use Swamp, Overgrown Tomb, put 2 counters on, the next turn we'll have 3. Okay. Go down to 5, we'll put 2 counters on. Show our opponent that we do have points of interaction. Could be a bluff. We could lure us this turn, but I'd much rather just try and kill them, to be honest. They're going to dredge the Life from the Loam here, and they whiff there, that's not a problem. So now, if they just play out the Stinkweed Imp, we can just Heartless Act it. If we want to, but most likely we'll just hit the Leyline of the Void with an Assassin's Trophy. I don't see any value in doing anything else. We've got Hex Drinker going to a clock on its own, sorry, a win on its own. So, yep, just a hard cast Stinkweed Imp. I think our opponent's going to hope that we die to our own Dark Confidant here. The highest thing we could hit is 3 CMC, which would be Maelstrom Pool, so pump to 5. We can crack the Verdant Catacombs, just get a Swamp, I suppose. Go to 7 and still have 4 to play with, so go like this. Get rid of the Leyline of the Void. One thing to consider actually is Lightning Axe would normally be an out, but we know their only only 2 mountains are already exiled, so that was so that was no downside to doing that. So I know about that. Let's just level up Hex Drinker and get in. It is an instant, that's why I'm not worried about it. They had no mountains left in their deck, and they also obviously can't hit the Hex Drinker, so nothing to worry about at all. We're just playing in a league today, guy. Trying to avoid stress this weekend. So let's get in here. Protection from everything. Nothing to worry about as we take the second match. Oh yeah? What's on the agenda? Any big plans? Going climbing or going out at all? Okay, that's a good win against Dredge there. Let's see what we've got for match number 3. Oh, you're running some Is It Prowess. You decided to join the dark side. How have you been finding it? Because I've noticed the amount of it just in the queues at the moment is horrendous. I'm playing it once, maybe twice every league. Oh, you get the Shrubwood. Yeah. How I meant to ask actually. How's little Tybalt doing? Fade Heliod. Yeah, that is entirely fair. Fading Heliod's, I'm not sure, it's a bit of an interesting one because through the leagues I've barely faced it. I think I'll just have a quick look at well, I'll have a look after this match, but I think from memory, in the past maybe 8-9 leagues, I've faced Heliod once, but in challenges it's everywhere. Little dude's doing good, keeps getting more and more active. Oh yeah, as he gets into that kitten stage, they just go nuts. Our little guy's 2 now, and he's hit the horrible 2s where he's just acting up for no reason. He just decides to go absolutely insane at the drop of a hat for what seems no reason at all. Oh no. Well, at least you're facing it so we don't have to, so you're doing us a great service there, guy. Yeah, we're going to keep this. Got the 2 lands we need. Everything in our hand is castable, and yeah. Shame we don't have a Goy for a Bob, but you can't get it all. The opponent's keeping 7. Let's see what they've got. Oh, we're against Burn. This hand is interesting against Burn. So what we... That's interesting, just a very light Mardu splash. I could really see that. Rakdos doesn't have a lot of game against Heliod, short of just trying to take it out of their hand, but once it's resolved, got no way of dealing with it. So we've got the Thoughtseize push and decay, so if we take a Goblin Guide here, next turn we can push the other guide, take the Rift Bolt, and then leave them with a Searing Blaze and land. I like that. The other option is to take a Rift Bolt, then next turn take a guide and kill the other one using a push. But I'd rather just minimise creature damage there. We do have 3 sideboard brutalities for this, so should have a good bit of game against them. That's Mountain and Goblin Guide. Okay, get a free draw off the Goblin Guide, which is quite nice. And we even get to do it painlessly. I agree, Ben. So we'll lead on a Thoughtseize. Take the Rift Bolt, I think. Unless they've drawn anything better. Yeah, they've drawn Lava Spike, so we'll take that. We'll push the Goblin Guide on their turn. I assume we'll just see a Rift Bolt here. Yeah, there you go. Card's broken, mate. Just ban it. Ban Thoughtseize. Do what Reddit say you should. Ban Thoughtseize. It's a broken card. Yeah. be fair, guy, you are playing what is an insanely like, I know it's not an infinite combo, but it is an incredible value combo in the blue-red Prowess deck. Obviously, for Manamorphose, you go 1 and a red, whatever colours you want, blue-red, draw a card, get a 3/3, scry 2. It's bloody good. So, I'm going to play the Field of Ruin here, put Lurrus into hand. I don't really feel a need to hold up Abrupt Decay or Heartless Act here. I'd rather get it down next turn. We can get the Treetop Village down, as well as cast Lurrus. Leaves us live to... That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, infinite combos. 2 or 1 card ones are just abhorrent. Annoyingly, we do have to take a bit of damage here, so we'll Heartless Act the Eidolon, and then play a Treetop Village. So we'll Heartless Act on their turn just to get them to take some damage. Yeah, so that's... we don't know about the Syrian Blaze. And the problem as well with Heliod is it's just... you can collect a company into an infinite life combo, which is so obnoxious. Yeah, they could have Boros Charmed there, but I think they're probably better going face in that regard. So it's still... so they can Searing Blaze the Treetop if they want to, but I'm just going to play the Overgrown Tomb tapped. Yeah, can I... there's no way to get Lurrus into play without taking damage and being able to hold up Abrupt Decay, which is annoying. So we could... put Lurrus into play, Treetop, then can't cast. Play Overgrown Tomb tapped. Without taking damage, there's no decent way to play this out, so probably going to be eating that Searing Blaze next turn off a land drop, assuming they can find one. So I think we're just going to Overgrown Tomb, get down Lurrus, hope it survives, because I really don't want to run a Bob out here, not into just a Searing Blaze where they get some naked value off it. Next time we'll be able to start getting in with Lurrus and Treetop, but I'm just assuming that Searing Blaze is going to eat a Lurrus here. I agree, so... okay, so they get to do it all here. A Searing Blaze, kill Lurrus, Prowess triggered, hit us for 2, so 5 in total. That's bad. Well, at least we can kill it and then get in if we need to. Which I think we absolutely need to start presenting a clock. And of course we draw Bauble the turn after, but what are you going to do? Let's see what they're drawing first. So they are drawing Goblin Guide, so I want to hold up this Decay. Or... can we hold up both? The Field of Ruin. So if we Field of Ruin that, 1, 2, get a green source, 1, 2, Treetop. So we can't Abrupt Decay and Treetop Village, which is annoying. 2. Yeah, there's no way to do both. We could play out Bob, hell of a risk. I think we've got to defend. Annoyingly, we can't get in here. Treetop Village to kill the Swift Spear or the Goblin Guide, and then just Abrupt Decay, whichever. It's not a winning line. It's very defensive. I don't like it at all. Very defensive. We're at 6 life. We know they are drawing a Goblin Guide, even if they don't have Bolt or some combination of it. It's going to be quite difficult. And we've got to play to the winning line. We can take them off white here, actually, which I think we should do. just to minimise the amount of spells that they could actually have. And because we've done that, I'm going to play Bob as a blocker. Hold of Abrupt Decay. That's better. It's not rolling over as much and accepting defeat. Force them to make some decisions, or at least maybe waste a burn spell on Bob. That'd be nice. They had the white source anyway, so it didn't matter. So I will block the Swiss Spear here. They're not interested in that, so they're just hoping that we're going to die to our own Bob, which probably is going to happen. But stranger things have happened. Let's go Bauble off the top, that'd be nice. It's not bad. Just keep us alive. So, know about that. Okay, so we've got a 4/4 blocker. We'll get in with Bob. We know they've got a Goblin Guide in hand. We can take them off white if we need to, but is it worth it at this stage, or should we just better trying to keep everything up? Unfortunately, but I don't think we've got a choice. I think we've just got to try and present the quickest possible clock. Next turn we'll be able to get in for, what's this? 5, 6, 7. Ooh, okay. That's bad. That is bad. If they've got double creature, we die. If they've got any burn spell, we die. Yeah, I'm just going to take them off white. Stops them from playing Boros, Charm, Lightning, Helix. And we've got a choice. We'd have to have creature plus spell, 2 creatures. We know their only card left in hand is a Goblin Guide. We can block that with a Hex Drinker. We've got an active Bob on the field on 1, so we're probably dead. Oh, look, they had the white source anyway. So we are probably dead here, but yeah. Oh, I shuffled away the Goblin Guide. What an idiot. So Thought Seizers come out. If we're bringing in the Brutalities. Yeah, we tried. I think we put a pretty good fight considering we drew 2 creatures in that and just killed the world with all of our removal spells. I don't think we did too bad. I'm not interested in Spell Bomb. Bring E instead. I don't want to bring Seal of Primordium just to kill an Eidolon. Veil's not great. The Glamours, again, same argument as Seal of Primordium. Assassin's Trophy, it's fine. Not interested in Ghost Quarter. I think I'll just keep it simple. Take out Thought Seizers for an E and 3 Brutalities. If we can 3-mode it, that would be fantastic. Okay, let's go with that. There is argument. Oh, you like Thoughtseize over Dark Confidant? I agree, I can keep 1 or 2 in. Yeah, the advantage of Thoughtseize is obviously it's more controlled life loss. We could try and mitigate some of that with Collective Brutality, but yeah, I'll take 1 Bob out. I don't want to go too low on creatures though. Granted, if that creature is sort of like a win con for our opponent. There you go. Oh wow, this hand. It's a bit of an interesting one. So this was a swamp. This would be perfect. I don't know if we want to bring in 1 card that's dead against the rest of their deck just to kill Eidolon. So if we had it in hand right now, they'd go turn 2 Eidolon, and then we want to double spell next turn. We want to play Hex Drinker and Inquisition or Barb or something like that. You know, I don't think we want to be just tapping out to play a possibly do nothing enchantment. That's why I didn't really want to bring it in. I'm going to keep this though. Bit of a risk, but 3 discard spells that we can fire off. If we draw a swamp, then yeah, I think it's certainly something that you've got to keep in mind, but I agree, it's not great, but that's what you really want to do with mid-range decks. You want to think of every single, particularly with Rock and Jund, you want to try and understand every single option you've got, so you can try and make the best decision. So, oh yeah, Dan, if you could put those in the Grim Discord theory channel, I'd love to see the Marty one as well. So we've not got a removal spell for either of these Swift Spears. Hey, well done, guy. Well done. So, Rolling Vortex we can take next turn, so I'm not interested in that. Skewer the Critic, same. It's probably got to be Swift Spear. Considering they haven't, yeah. I'd love to draw a Swamp next turn, or Blooming Marsh. Any black land would be fantastic. Urborg would be just brilliant. Look at that. Ask and ye shall receive. So it's Inquisition. We'll get rid of that Rolling Vortex now. And then we're going to Inquisition again, taking probably the Boros Charm. So Skewer is just a bolt if they attack, but they can't do it pre-combat without lava. So they go Lava Spike, Skewer the Critic. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, down to 9 next turn. If we take one of these, it stops them from double spelling. Great, but this is 4 damage, so I'm just going to take this one. I think that's the line anyway. It's going to empty the hand next turn. We're going to play Hex Drinker. Glad you agree. We really need a Collective Brutality now. Just off the top. Go Hex Drinker, Brutality, kill their board. Okay, I'm going to bauble ourselves just to see what we're playing around with. Tarmogoyf. Okay. So drawing Goyf. So, what's the worst possible thing our opponent could do to us next turn? They could double bolt. That's 6. That's 9 again. We go down with it. They just kill us. We could play a Dark Confidant. That'd be horrendous. We could put Lures into hand. Then we've got a Lifelinker next turn, but then we could just die. We know we're going to be drawing a Tarmogoyf, so with that, I'm going to play out a Hex Drinker, put 2 levels into it, hope to fade some targeted removal. Something like a Searing Blaze, that'd be pretty bad. The next turn we'll be able to play a 6-7 Goyf and then just start beating down. If this Hex Drinker lives, then even better. It doesn't, but that is 3 damage that is not going to our face. So they did have Bolt Bolt, so we would have just been dead if we'd have put Lurrus into hand. So Field of Ruin here. I'm going to do the same now. I'm going to stop them from getting a redraw. Take them off white. Play out a nice big blocker. And hope to fade a top deck. Just hope that Burn don't draw a Burn spell. But I have a feeling that, okay, going to get a little bit lucky, that's good. That's what you need. Got Treetop Village. Put Lurrus into hand. We're so they're not a Lava Dart deck. Any spell kills us anyway. Apart from Searing Blaze. Searing Blaze wouldn't kill us. Any burn spell, because I can cast all of them now for non-spectacle or non-suspend costs. Another creature, if it was Goblin Guide, would kill us if we attacked. So how many outs have we got? So Rolling Vortex doesn't do it. About 40%. I'm not going to attack. And I think that ends up with, I think we've got like a 40-60 chance if we attack. I think it's a bit higher if we don't. Okay. There's a chance. I'm not casting that. Absolutely not casting that. So let's, I suppose let's bauble. Really hope we don't see a bird spell on top. Come on. Land on top for our opponent. Okay. So let's get a little frisky. Let's get in with the Tarmogoyf now. I'm not too interested in playing the Bob out, just dying. Next turn we can attack with Treetop, Goyf and Luris. Okay. Might be happening. Come on, just ooh, another Goyf. Okay. We've got another redraw. Let's see what we are drawing. Draw a removal spell, then Field of Ruin. Okay. So, what does this attack look like? So we Treetop Village, that's 3, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's lethal, they have to block. They'll block the Goyf, take 6, we'll go up to 6, deploy another Goyf as a blocker, we know, you know what, I think we've turned the corner. We know that their only card in hand is a mountain. So let's go to combat, we're going to attack with everything, we're going to block the Goyf. Not going to Thoughtseize. Not going to play out a Bob, and we can play Tarmogoyf and everything's going to be okay. I reckon. Yeah, there we go. What was the draw after? It was an Overgrown Tomb, so we were drawing pretty badly as well. Whew. Good old Luris. I mean, Bob was pretty dead, but then so was Thoughtseize. Spellbomb draws a card, I guess. It's, is there maybe a consideration for an Assassin's Trophy over a Thoughtseize? Probably not. Yeah, I was just looking at that then. So here are the suspect cards. So I don't mind keeping, obviously Inquisition Brutality, great. Thoughtseize does have a lot of equity because the ceiling is high, the floor is really low though. If I Thoughtseize just off the, I don't know, say turn 5 I draw Thoughtseize, they're empty-handed, doesn't matter, it's just lose 2 life. Yeah, I like to think that you were projecting the thought into my head, Ben, that's what it was. So if we, the problem is then with Bob, even if it's got a slightly lower ceilings, Thoughtseize on turn 2 is great, you know, can gain us 1 life, 2 life potentially, you know, really start to mess with their hands and we can sculpt around it, it gets a lot of information. Bob, however, is a liability and we can't control the life loss. I'm going to agree with you actually, I'm going to take out Bob, Thoughtseize, trophy. Yeah. I've talked myself into it. I'm not certain it's correct, but I've talked myself into it. Okay, this is a definite mulligan. So 5 lands, 2 spells, but not great spells. This is much, much better. We don't need double green for anything. Would be nice for Skoos, but they do need double black for his Lurus, so we keep this, chuck back the Catacombs and say go. Okay, wooded foothills from our opponent, that's awfully suspicious. Not sure what 7 and a 7 burn would keep that would involve no turn 1 play. Unless they're splashing green for Veiled Summer. Please don't be true. No, we're good, they're just holding up End Step Bolt. That's fine and dandy. Wow, look at this. Okay, so Searing Blaze, double Eidolon. That hand makes a lot of sense now. So, we're going to take Eidolon. Next turn they're going to play Eidolon. We're going to play Blooming March. We're going to play it or push it, take 2. They'll have 2 dead cards in hand. The Goyf will be bigger than 3 because the Eidolon's going to pump it. So it's going to be a 4, 5. It's a land, instant, sorcery, enchantment. So it's going to be a 4, 5. So it's going to be way outside of Searing Blaze. And they're not going to have 4 mana for a while. So yeah, that's it's looking pretty good. Okay. So we're going to see Fiery Islet from our opponent, hopefully. Yep, and here comes Eidolon. I'll play the Catacombs now. So the hand is currently 1 Unknown and 2 Searing Blaze. Interesting. So, we're going to go to combat. We're going to Fatal Push the Eidolon. Take the 2 damage. Hopefully they just say go. Holding up the 2 Searing Blaze. Spend a Rift Bolt. No problem at all. We're going to get a Overgrown Tomb here. Get that tapped. A healthy 14. Okay, so we've got 2 options. So we can 3 options. We play Treetop Goyf, which I quite like. I think that's probably the correct line of play. We can play an untapped land, Blooming Marsh Swamp, Field of Ruin, probably, yeah, and put Lurus into hand. We could Field of Ruin them off white, which I'm not a big fan of. But I think the correct line of play is Treetop Village and Goyf, which is what I'm going to do. If we had a Bauble in the graveyard, then I think it could be better, but at the moment we're doing pretty well. Goyf's a 5/6. They'd have to Rift Bolt, draw a land, and then Searing Blaze, which would be 2 spells going on the Goyf. As it looks like they've done that, that's absolutely fine by me. I don't mind Goyf eating a Searing Blaze here. Particularly as now we've got Lurus that we can just play, get back the Goyf turn after. We've got Scavenging Ooze now. I do like playing Skoos. So I do very much like Scavenging Ooze. So next turn we can play both Skoos and Lurus. So got 11. I don't want to turn on this Blaze preemptively. I want to make them decide between hitting Scavenging Ooze and Lurus. We'll price them into something difficult. They would have to hit Lurus, and then we've just got a Scavenging Ooze that's turned on and gaining life and getting bigger. So I'm going to play this tapped, play Lurus, get Lurus into hand. Next turn we're going to go Swamp, Lurus, and Scavenging Ooze, or get Tarmogoyf. And actually Goyf's more defendable, depends on how low we go. If they double spell here, I don't know, they bolt, put us down to 5, then no, nothing from our opponent. Hexdrinker just making everything more difficult. So, we can play Lurrus. Now we're going to play the Goyf, since it's pretty free. Get some equity out of Lurrus. And no spell and end step, so if they hit a land here, they're going to Searing Blaze Lurrus, which is fine. We then get in for 5 to 11 and we can start gaining a lot of life with Scavenging Ooze. Yep, that's all we know about. I wonder what their hand is that they're holding up. Got Fatal Push now, which is brilliant, so Scavenging Ooze here, we can gain 2 life, put it outside of Bolt and Searing Blaze range. Gain 2 life hitting the Lurrus and 1 Eidolon, which keeps the Goyf big. We can do it all and hold up Fatal Push. Okay. I like that. Yeah, so hold up Fatal Push. Next turn we'll be able to Hexdrinker and get it to a 4/4. That is a good sign. Okay, Sunbaked Canyon from our opponent and Concession. It's pretty good. Okay, so we've faced Blue-Red Prowess in match 1. It's a very, very close game. We should have been a little bit closer, but the excellent double Manamorphose into the Stormwing, just too much, over the top. Beat Dredge just off the back of Lurrus looping the Nihil Spellbomb in game number 1, then just doing nice rock and mid-range things in game 2, just beating him down through a Leyline of the Void. And a hard-fought burn match just then, so let's go into number 4 here against Desduul, taking the play. This is, well, 3 of a kind. It'd be a good poker hand, but we'll look at that. That's much better. No discard, which is a shame, but we have got double Goyf. We send back 1 Goyf, keep the pulse. Yeah, I like this. Shame we don't have a removal spell, not a removal spell, a discard spell, but yeah, pretty happy. Turn 1 Hexdrinker, put the fear into our opponent. Okay, so this should be interesting. It's going to level up Hexdrinker here, I think. So, what happens here? What happens here? We're against Jund. They untap, play a fetch land or play any land, play Ren and 6 down tick, kill the Hexdrinker. They find a black source, Thoughtseize or push it, but then do we really want to run out of Naked Goyf? Probably not. I think we'll put 1 level in. Say, hello, we've got a Fatal Push. And then next turn we'll put Lurrus into hand, or use the Maelstrom Pulse to kill Ren and 6. Yeah, this is not a hand that lines up well against Jund. Okay, no fetch land, and no Ren and 6, so that's nice to see. I think regardless of what... I was saying, unless we drew a discard spell, I'm just going to play out what I said and put Lurrus into hand, but because we did draw a discard spell, I'm going to play a Tarmogoyf. I'm going to do post combat, see if they want to remove Hexdrinker. They do not. Thoughtseize here. Looks like we're going to eat a Abrupt Decay. Yeah, there we go. That's fine. We've got Lurrus. So what do we have here? So we've got a Liliana, Croxer, and a Bloodbraid Elf. This is not far off a perfect Jund progression. Let's go to... So I think we've got to say the Bloodbraid Elf here. It's the 2-for-1, a lot of equity, and a very scary hand. So what happens? They play Croxer, and we get rid of the push. They play Liliana, we get rid of the push and Maelstrom Pulse it. If we play Tarmogoyf, they're going to down tick, so yeah. We've got to take Bloodbraid, but now we're probably incentivized not to play out the Tarmogoyf because we've got the pulse to kill Liliana anyway. It's not great, but unfortunately that's what you've got to do sometimes. It does allow them to get... oh, they're just going for Croxer. Interesting. Very interesting. So we're still going to pitch the Fatal Push. So let's just put Lurrus into hand. And then say go. So they still can't... So yeah, so if they next turn... they won't have enough to get Croxer back even with the fetch land. So now we're going to see a Liliana, or is it a Bloodbraid they've redrawn? 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, it's just Liliana, cool. So I'm going to pitch the Goyf. We're going to Maelstrom Pulse Liliana. If we draw a land, we're going to keep it in hand for the Croxer. Ooh. That's tempting though, we've got to do that. So we Maelstrom Pulse Liliana. They get back Croxer. We discard Heartless Act. Get Lurrus. Yeah, put Lurrus in play. And then play a Hex Drinker. That's not bad. Then they've got a Croxer, we've got Lurrus, and Goyf the turn after will be a 6-7, so we'll be able to Eclipse Croxer. Okay, I like that. Oh, damn. It's a very, very good draw. So now if they've got a land, then so they can... Yep, that was a perfect draw for my opponent. This is Inquisition is dead, so we'll just kill the Ravine on their draw step. Yeah, I like the line as well. It's a shame we didn't get to enact it. Best laid plans and all that lot, so we can't take them off Croxer mana, so we'll just take them off there. Doesn't make a difference, just hit him on draw step. Get one swamp. Sorry, one forest. Not one swamp, we've got 4. So now, oh, we're going to see a Croxer. I'll take the 5 off the Goyf. Don't really have a choice, as I've got to kill Croxer when they get it back, unfortunately. It's the much bigger threat and quicker clocks, it kills us next turn. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was what I was going for, Dan, just to try and force them to say, look, you know, what's more important, Croxer or green? And the answer is definitely Croxer, but... So, now we've got to kill Croxer with this Heartless Act. Fatal Push would be quite nice. Assassin, Abrupt Decay will be fine. Hex Drinker. It's not bad. Unfortunately, just need another removal spell because next turn, if they can find a way to get Croxer back. So let's see. Need to fill 2 more cards. So fetch land into 1 mana spell. Okay, Dark Confidant. That could kill them. If we draw an untapped land, then get in with Hex Drinker, you know, could kill them. Okay, fetch land as well. There's a chance. That is definitely a blocker. So, just drawn Dark Confidant for turn. We can make Hex Drinker into a... still a 4/4. We can't make it into a 6/6 unfortunately. If we attack, they block with Bob. That puts them into Croxer range. We play Bob, we jump Tarmogoyf, so that's what we've got to do, I think. It also insulates us against Liliana. So if they swing out, we have to let the Dark Confidant hit us, otherwise they'll just be able to get back Croxer. If they find a spell, a 1 mana or 2 mana spell here, then they can do it anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we can get a 1 here. Oh no, it doesn't matter now because they've Renin 6 down tick. Okay, so Ren down ticks, kills Dark Confidant. They then swing out with both. We block the Tarmogoyf. They get back Croxer. We take 3 and die. Cool. Let's see if the opponent sees the line. Oh no, they can't get back yet. They can't get it back because they need the extra... Yep. Oh, that's even better. They got that line as well. Oh, we're just dead in a number of different ways. I don't like bringing in Veil of Summer against Jund. They've got Lightning Bolts, they've got Liliana and things like that. I just don't like it. I do like E, and I do like Assassin's Trophy. I also like Spellbomb. So what's bad? Not a huge fan of Thought Seizers against the discard decks. I prefer just to have a critical mass of interactive spells and removal. They're more reliant on their graveyard than we are, as weird as that sounds being a Lurrus deck. I think we do need some kind of interaction for their graveyard hate. So this might be the one where I do bring in Seal the Primordium. No, they don't. But Trophy versus Thoughtseize, you know, we're going to be in a top deck war very quickly, the two of us, and if one is and the other isn't, then they probably won anyway. So what about that then? I think E is fantastic. Is it though? Let me do that. E's good, but if we could put it on 3, that'd be better. We can't put it on 2, which kills most of our stuff. And I don't expect Lurrus to be living for very long either. Is it worth bringing in Seal just for their spell bombs? Probably not. Do we want to bring in Fail? I don't like Fail against Jund. I really don't think it's that good. I could see that, yeah. I like that line down. So we'll go Lurus here. Oh, this is a very good hand. So we've got Spell Bomb for that, we've got discard, removal, threat, and draw. I mean, it's pretty much as good as it gets. So it's Inquisition, see what the opponent's got going on. They kept 7 as well. Ooh, look at that. So we've got a Lightning Bolt, double Goyf, Bloodbraid Elf. This hand isn't too bothered about an Hell Spell Bomb. We're going to play Blooming Marsh next turn and Dark Confidant, which is going to eat a bolt. That's fine. Then we can play the Skoos the following turn. But actually, I think we play Skoos to play that into the Lightning Bolt and then play the Dark Confidant. We've got to take one of these Tarmogoyfs, I feel. Or we take the Bolt and keep the Tarmogoyfs in check with Scavenging Ooze and Spell Bomb. That's interesting. That's a thought. They're short on mana as well. Actually, now I think about it, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the Bolt, play Dark Confidant next turn, kill the first. Yeah, I like that. I like that line. I think this is the highest upside, what we've gone for. Oh, so just going to play out a Naked Spell Bomb, that's fine by me. We can do the same. But I'll be playing out Dark Confidant, as I said, hoping they just play a Tarmogoyf here. So there's the Peatland that we know about. They've got their own Dark Confidant. Well, that's a shame, but we will be killing it. Peel a Swamp and a Field of Ruins. Now we get to Fatal Push, kill Bob. Get in for 2. I'm now just going to play out a Scavenging Ooze. So now they've got a decision. We can keep their Goyfs in check pretty easily. We've got Spell Bombs, we've got Skoos, we know their hand is Bloodbraid and one Tarmogoyf now. And one unknown, so let's see how this figures in. Another Skoos. Could have taken the Urborg out for Ghost Quarter, now I think about it. Could double Spell Bomb here and then just make the Goyf a 0-1. It's quite amusing actually. So what have we got? So we've got land, creature, instant, sorcery instant, so it could be a 2-3 at its biggest if we nuke their graveyard. Okay. I like that, considering we've got the second one. I like this. So we can do that, eat 2 things in response to them cracking it. And eat our own things. Okay. So we can exile their graveyard with our Spell Bomb, draw a card. They'll do it the same in response. Then we can eat our own graveyard to make Goyf a 0-1. And then we've got 2 free attacks. And we've drawn a card. Whilst they will as well, they'll be getting 5 down to 9. Okay. That's the line. We attack with both. They block here, I assume. No blocks at all. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely fine with that. Yep, so that's absolutely fine. On end step, we'll attempt to eat a Dark Confidant out of their graveyard. Course of Krufix and Jund. What year is this? I love it. Very much love to see that. So let's see how interested they are in fighting over this. I don't really see why, because they've just denied themselves a draw. If we abrupt decay the Goyf, we can't get in next turn. We can make the Goyf a 1-2, I'm not bothered about that. We can make the Goyf a 1-2, hit the Corsair with an abrupt decay, and we untap, hit for 4, that's not enough. They have got another Goyf in hand. Oh, okay. I do like Corsair in this meta, you know, playing a slightly higher land count as well. We know they've got the push as well. I think we have to abrupt decay this now. I don't think we have a choice, particularly as we've got the other spell bomb. Oh, that's good. So we get to take that Tarmogoyf. Then we can eat it with the Scavenging Ooze to grow. Oh god, they've got another one. So many Tarmogoyfs. Fine. So now if they want, we can kill the Corsair by eating these two Goyfs, which I'm assuming they've definitely seen. Played a land yet, we have not. Which I'm going to do. I want this Bob to stick around as long as possible, and I want this push to go here. So next turn what I want them to do is play Goyf, take 1, push the Scavenging Ooze. Yeah, that's why I want to start cycling these relics. If we Urborg, then that stops them from being forced to pay 1 life down to 4, gaining off the crawl. Yeah, I think we've got to. Yeah, I think we've got 2 there. So they're drawing Fatal Push Return, they're playing Black Cleave Cliffs, which is a bit of a pain. They go up to 5, there should be. So now they're going to push the Scavenging Ooze, I assume. They might just want to go for the Bob, but I think Scavenging Ooze is correct. Then they're going to play out a Tarmogoyf. The other option is they might want to just hold on to the Spell Bomb, but I think you've got to commit to the board, particularly knowing that you've got a Bloodbraid coming. I'm just going to cycle this Spell Bomb again. We really need to draw removal and points of interaction. Or our own Tarmogoyf. It's pretty good. Just bury them in some card advantage. Overgrown Tomb's good. Hex Drinker's good. So, make Hex Drinker a 4-4. That blocks Corsair, Bloodbraid. Play our own Goyf. Next turn we'll go to Luris. That's right done. Okay. So let's Overgrown Tomb. Play out a Goyf. Play out a Hex Drinker. And short of a Maelstrom Pulse. That should be very difficult for them to remove. So we know they're drawing Spell Bomb, and they're going to be going Bloodbraid into Liliana. Okay. That's absolutely fine. Next turn we'll be able to lure us get back our own... oh, Plague Engineer, that's just rude. Yeah, we'll be able to get back our own Goyf, so... I'm assuming... I'm not sure why they didn't do that pre-combat. Because I would have sacrificed Tarmogoyf. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh. Okay. Oh wow, look at this. So, regret getting rid of the Tarmogoyf now. So what are our options? So we've got to play Blooming Marsh, that's a given. Lure us and then cast. Can't do anything with it. We could lure us into hand, Abrupt Decay, Liliana, push Goyf, and then get in, probably just pass. We could Scavenging Ooze. Yeah, there's that as well. Yeah, I like that. We've got to push Tarmogoyf if we're going to be doing anything. Yeah, I like that, damn. Okay, so then draw a card. Abrupt Decay, it's a little bit too late, so they'd have to find a Liliana here, because what they'd then be able to do is kill Barb and Lily, and then Lily down tick, but it looks like we're okay. I'll pitch the Scavenging Ooze that they know about. So, in our opponent's hand, they have... Okay, I guess they've got Bloodbraid off as well now. They should have one land, an Abrupt Decay, and a Nihil Spellbomb. Okay, so yeah, that's enough. Okay. Taking down Jund, that is not too bad, so we'll go to game 3. Hey Bobby, how we doing? Good timing. Oh, and a follow as well, you absolute hero. Thanks, Bobby. I think we're going to run it back. I do quite like the... Knowing about the Plague Engineers as well is good. We can sequence Bobs and Scavenging Oozes alongside the Hex Drinkers quite nicely. And looping the... Oh, sorry, not looping. Cycling these spell bombs early really won us that. Being able to hit us 3 removal spells at a critical time. I think the opponent probably should have been doing the same with his one, but it's the benefit of hindsight, I suppose. There's an interesting hand. I'm going to keep it. It's no discard, but plenty of removal and interaction. So I'm quite happy to see that. We've even got a Hex Drinker, so I'm going to bauble myself first just to see what we're drawing. I'm going to bubble the opponent just to see if actually they're drawing a bob into a bob or a goif. Bloodbraid Elf. Okay. I'm just going to hold up Fatal pushing that. Which makes makes more sense. This Hexdrinker has a lot of value in this matchup, as shown in the last game. Thanks, Dan. It was, if you're interested, I should be able to dig out where I got it from in the, somewhere on Streamlabs. It wasn't particularly hidden. It's one of the MTG Arena like themes that was done by a Streamlabs employee, so it was quite interesting. I saw it, I liked it. It was free. Same again, I'm going to hold up Heartless Act and Fatal Push. Yeah, no Ren 6, fantastic. It's another thing I was wary about, as we talked about in game 1, about just running a Hexdrinker out naked into a Ren 6. It looks like they're developing their mana quite nicely. Looking to hit that Overgrown Tomb very shortly. Just Liliana, that's fine with me. I'm gonna pitch this Forest most likely. It's got get rid of the Forest. Yeah, so the Heartless Act has got sort of two main purposes. The first one is, as you say, it's a Doomblade effect for Stormwing Entity, but also the second, it's a catch-all removal spell. It's not a bad rate, 2 mana kill anything, but the second mode on it, being able to remove counters from target creatures, it hits Ballista, and most importantly, it hits the Infinite Life combo with Spike Feeder and Heliod. So it's just something that I felt we had to include in the deck, unfortunately. Okay, here I'm gonna... Yeah. So I'm going to... Field of Ruin, then Skoos and a Hexdrinker, I think. They'll down tick up with Lily, and then we can get in with whichever one's still around. If it eats a removal spell, it's great, we've still got the Goif. Again, you don't mind running the removal spells, running into removal spells here when you've got Lurrus. It's absolutely sexy Hexy. I'm surprised we haven't got a guy in here with his almost like copy pasta of Hexdrinker names. I'm gonna ditch the Peatland here. I want to keep the 2 removal spells for Bloodbraid and whatever they hit off Bloodbraid. Hopefully not Liliana. That would be horrendous. Okay, Skoos eats a bolt, and followed by Plague Engineer naming Snake. That is very rude. So the last card in hand is Bloodbraid Elf. We've got 2 Tarmogoyfs. Gee, Billy, how come your mum lets you have 2 Tarmogoyfs? Again, because we drew the second one, I don't mind running this Goif out into a Liliana down tick. Yeah, that's certainly something done. I still don't like it against Jund. I just don't like Veil. Okay. I'm gonna kill... What am I doing? I'm gonna kill the Bloodbraid Elf here. And that's perfect. So or swamp, we can take them off green if we wanted. We could take them off Croxer. And then play out a Goif down tick, or we could Heartless Act and Goyf. We could just put Lurrus into hand, the uptick. I think forcing the downtick is good, but it's not. It's a bit of a difficult Liliana game because then we next turn put Lurrus into hand. Lily will go up to 2. We play Lurrus, they downtick, we lose him. I think we've got to do it, unfortunately. So we're going to lose. Whatever we don't cast, we lose, so this at least might force them to go up. I agree, Engineer was exceptionally rude. Okay, so yeah, they are just going down, that's fine. The sexual hexual, there he is. Kikatlan coming in with the championing of our favourite snaky boy. Absolutely. I still find it odd. I'll look into it afterwards to see if there is a reason why you can't do it on computer. Is anyone else in the chat having the same issue on a computer being not being able to type? We've now got insulation against a Lily uptick in the form of this Verdant Catacombs, that's nice. Next turn we'll be able to Lurrus and bring back our favourite snaky boy. Oh, god damn it. So yeah, here we lose both Lurrus and... yeah, okay. The bolts, now the uptick, and the next turn they're getting back Crocs. We just lost Lurrus, which is a shame. That is... what were you last turn? Yeah, I think short of a spellbomb off the top, we're going to be in trouble there. Oh come on, we needed that. That's so rude. I don't doubt who would play mid-range in this economy. It'd have to be insane. Oh, okay, so Crocs puts us down to 5. Got Liliana upticking. At this point, I was going to start. I don't think thinning makes a difference. Hitting that Lurrus then was just critical. So whatever we hit, it's got to be an answer to Croxer, and that is GG, unfortunately. Okay, we're going for the classic Rock 5-0 now, a 3-2, so that was a very, very good sequence from our opponent then, just to tag the Lurrus with the Crocs and the Liliana. I assume that was the card they'd been sandbagging for a while. Yeah, the other Rude Factory. Plague Engineer killing our snake. And then that very, very horrendous sequence. But all in all, as we were talking about earlier, I've been very impressed with Heartless Act. It's come up clutch quite a few times, particularly against Prowess. Mid-range 5-0, of course. It wouldn't be a Rock League without going 3-2. So against Real Joy, I played against them recently. I definitely played against them. I'm just going to have to have a look at my spreadsheet because I've definitely played against them recently. Yep, they were on Bant Snowblade last time I played them. So this hand, definitely a mulligan. Maybe I should go play Izzy Prowess. Maybe you should shut up, guy. It's, we can't be doing that. Can't represent good decks here. Play Jank and former greats. Nothing else. Okay, so they are no longer playing Bant Snowblade, it would seem. Verdant Catacombs into Blood Crypt. Is this another Jund? Yeah, I kept this on the proviso that they were Stone Blade, or at least another deck. I'm not sure it's fantastic now. I've got the Decay, that's pretty good at least. And Bauble on their upkeep. Season Pyromancer. Okay, so they are Rakdos most likely. Oh no, Jund. Okay, so at least we've got an answer to that in the form of Decay, so that's nice. And no fetch land as well is fantastic. Yeah, it's Jund Bant Snowblade. It's a classic deck, guy. I'm surprised you haven't seen it around recently. Though them not being able to accrue any value from that Renin 6 is fantastic for us. Okay, so naturally drawn the Catacombs, I'm assuming, otherwise they've punted not playing it last turn. They get to Season Pyromancer here. Liliana, okay, we can kill that with a Maelstrom Pulse. We'll probably pitch Fail Push here. So they had double Catacombs and they chose not to fetch. That's very odd. Oh, they had turn 1. Did I miss that? Real Joy, just play first. Yes, yeah, you're quite right, Bobby, they did. I missed that one. Thanks, Guy. Hope Tybalt's okay. Wish him the best. And I hope to see some recovery photos in the chat later on. Okay, Bloodstained Mire from our opponent here. Looking like they're setting up for a Bloodbraid. Bloodbraid into K command. So I'm going to Thoughtseize just because I know I'm going to get rid of Thoughtseize because I know that there's a hit in their hand and about to take 3. Let's have a Doomblade discussion. Heartless Act, go for the throat, cast down, auto price, eliminate. I think go for the throat gets the most clean kills. So our Raging Fiends will get a tag. Jund again. So the thing about Heartless Act, it has been absolutely fantastic, but I do agree that Go for the Throat is the most classic and appropriate. This is a suspicious one. Oh, this is a fail push, that's fine. It's just trying to throw me off. I'm just dead here if they attack, so I've got a bob. Oh yeah, the card's terrible against Heliod. Yeah, of course. It's not the oh, the actual specific card, Heliod, yeah. No, that's very true, but we don't have a choice, unfortunately. But in these colours, you've got to try and hedge against the matchups in whatever way you want, and being able to put a card in the main deck that's not only a pretty good, oh, that's fantastic actually, so I get to deal with the Raging Ravine, that's not only like a moderately good removal spell with some like across the board hits, but also deals with by far and away one of our worst matchups, or at least makes it passable, is certainly something you can't turn your nose up at. So when they go to activate Raging Ravine, we'll get some draw. I mean, Shriekmaw is clearly the superior card. I think you're mad for anyone for saying or asserting otherwise. I'm going to crack peatland here. I can't afford to take much more damage. I just need to get something on board. Increase your threat density. So we're drawing a swamp. One card in hand. They chose not to cast it last turn. It's probably a land, so I'm not going to take the bait. I'm just going to put Lurrus into hand. Yep. If they K command or bolt, that's fine. There's not much we can do. Oh god, our Jund opponents this league. I'm just not going to show them. That's like the addition of Heartless Act. I think there's more creature counts on them than artifact. Yeah, it's from target creature, and I agree. Like, even against hardened scales, apart from Ozolith itself, all the stuff that has counters on it, you want to hit creatures, so it's still got a pretty good game there. So we're going to do the same thing that we did last time against Jund. We're going to bring in Assassin's Trophy. Was it Assassin's Trophy? We took out Inquisition. Thanks, Ben. Thanks for coming, for stopping by, and I will catch you next time. It's a very good card. It really is. Spell Bomb, Assassin's Trophy. It's got a lot of words on it, and a lot of them just say, you kill a creature, it doesn't matter. There's like shifting counters around. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up in a moment. But yeah, so same discussion. I'm not a big Veil of Summer fan. If we're taking out our Thought Seizers, maybe then it's correct too. Okay, I'll let you have the last decision there, Dan. Should we bring in Veil of Summer? Because I didn't bring it in last time, and yes, I know, and we did lose 1-2. But I don't think it's great against Jund. But I'm happy to be wrong. So what are your thoughts on it? Yeah. I've already shaved the Thought Seizers. Okay. And do we bring in... I also want to take out a Field of River for a Ghost Quarter. Sorry, an Urborg for a... I'll leave it. Okay, I like this configuration. Just leave in one Thought Seize. If we're going to leave in one discard spell. The other option is just put in a Collective Brutality for a laugh. I'll leave an Inquisition in. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that advice, guys. See if this serves us better than my sideboarding did in the previous match against Jund. Okay. I agree. Yeah, let's just get rid of Veil. It is an obnoxious card, and no one should be forced to run it in their decks. I'm probably going to throw this back. I don't know. It's very slow. In terms of all their removal is great. It's got our worst removal spell. It's got a Spell Bomb. I think we can do better than this. Yeah, like this. This is way, way, way better. We even get to play our most hated card. So, I'm going to pick. Oh yeah, I only play one Veil of Summer, then clearly the card is just crap. I'm just going to put back the Bauble. It's true, where was the Veil of Summer against me, Dan? Wasn't particularly good against my deck, and I run blue in. Okay, we're going to hold up Assassin's Trophy for Ren and Veil of Summer just in case. Although I must admit that that game that we played when you were on your Moist Jund list and no ban list mod, and obviously I was on Blue White Humans, that was one hell of a beating. Absolute hell of a beating. Not as bad. I didn't lose as bad as I did against Ironworks though, when he had 24 removal spells across 75 cards, and I'm just playing a creature deck. True, we'd have to then change our deck around a little bit. Let's get rid of this. Yeah, I do really like Cat Rock at the moment. I think it's quite well positioned, even though we have just faced two of our worst matchups in the form of Jund and Prowess. But it's but maybe just going slightly bigger would be better. Thing is, if you're playing Jund and you want to hit and kill a land, then you've got to be playing Cleansing Wildfire, right? And that card's just ridiculously good. Cantrips, blows up a land. It's fantastic against Amulet and Tron. I think Fulminator's days are unfortunately over, as much as that pains me to admit. Just gonna cycle this here. Cycle this Veil of Summer. Get a better card. Get rid of the E as well. See, that's why I don't like Veil of Summer. Now I've got a... Yeah, see, nice Veil of Summer. I think it just proves the point. Again, see, those are the things you don't mind with the monkey ban. If you're doing that, fine. It's all the other shenanigans that was going off of why that card, as much as we don't like to admit it, was right to get banned. Yeah, I thought we'd try it. You know, we've had one game without, one game with, see what happens. Also, same with Assassin's Trophy. I'm now, like, if these had been abrupt decays, how much better would they be? Oh yeah, nice Veil of Summer, fool. Great fun. Yeah, we've just been just eclipsed here. 4 cards in hand. Crocs is coming back next turn. We've had to 1 for 1, and they've got Ren and 6 as well. I don't think they won't come back from this. Particularly as we've had to use Assassin's Trophy, which just hurts so much in this deck. Ramping Jund in the mid-range mirror, not something you want to be doing. So we'll play Luris, we'll pitch the Nihil Spellbomb to Croxer, hope to fade a discard spell, or Liliana, or second Croxer. Oh, they've just got Spellbomb. They're cracking it now as well, so that's fine. Means we can at least start looping our own Spellbombs. Yeah, I agree. It's as weird as this sounds. I didn't explain it. Explain my thought process, but I value, because we've already got Luris in hand. or we're going to be putting Lurrus into hand. I value being able to loop the spell bomb and trying to find an answer to Croxa more than I value losing Lurrus and being able to get rid of Croxa, because this is how we get back into the game. Like, yeah, we're going to be able to pitch Goyf. Like right here, we're going to be able to. Yeah, see you later, Bobby. Thanks for stopping by. Right now, we're going to take 6 off the Croxa. We're going to pitch the Goyf. Next turn, we'll then be able to play our own Goyf and at least start blocking it whilst we cycle spell bomb and at least try and find an answer to it. The problem is that, again, this is one of the things that I talked about in the previous matches, where it's a very defensive line, but against Jund we're already on the back foot. They've got more cards, more lands, we've ramped them using our removal spells, they've wiped our graveyard. You know, this is the kind of desperation that unfortunately we have to employ. Yeah, the likelihood with 4 cards in hand that they had either a discard spell or a Liliana or a second Croxa, if we didn't do the play that we did, was quite high, so I was just trying to do maximum upside. And get blown out. That is, yeah, that's bad. Wow. So push would be, no, that is absolutely sickening. And now they can just down tick on Ren to kill our poor snake. Please bring me a bucket as well, Dan. That's just absolutely awful. Oh, they got the bolt as well. That is GG. So we didn't get the Rock 5-0. Ended up 2-3ing with this. So what? Let's have a look at what we faced. So faced Blue-Red Prowess in an exceptionally close one in match number 1. I just think the bolt in game 1, then flipping the bolt, then just being able to kill us by 1 was obviously, it was the nature of the draw. It happens. You get good luck, bad luck. That's fine. Absolutely demolished Dredge. Felt really good about that one. We then beat Burn in some very tight games. With, again, bit of luck, the opponent bricking on spells, just drawing lands 2 turns in a row whilst we had an active Bob was nothing short of remarkable. Then facing Jund back to back in just some insane draws, like that K command there. We were already teetering on the edge and sort of like just maybe establishing a situation where we could loop, draw an extra card each turn with Lurrus and then maybe stabilise, but yeah, it was just the last little push off the edge of the cliff. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad when you lose like that. At least it's losing to Jund and not Amulet Titan or anything like that. In terms of this deck though, I really don't like Veil of Summer. And I'm not sure if Cat Rock is where we want to be right now. I think Rock has a place. I love Heartless Act. That card has massively overperformed. Let's put those back. That card, massively overperformed, and I think 2 feels pretty good in any variation of Rock right now. I'm not sure that it's being a Lurrus deck. I'd rather have Lurrus in the main and get Liliana back, even if it's just 2. That would have enabled us to grind a lot better and sort of leverage the advantage that we had, particularly against Blue-Red Prowess. If we'd have had an active Liliana out, we'd have been able to really capitalise on the Goyf and Hex Drinkers that we had down, as opposed to drawing a Maelstrom Pulse like we did, because that's probably what it would replace. Probably a Pulse and maybe a Spell Bomb in the main, or maybe a Scooze, or one of the discard spells. Another thing is, I would quite like access to some of the bigger rock cards for mirror breaking, in terms of something like Thrun. and I'm not convinced as well that this 23 land mana base would work in a non-cat rock build of the deck. But that's something that we'll talk about later. And for the most part, thanks for coming down, everyone. It was an interesting league. Rock felt good. I think with a bit more luck, we could do a bit better. But if anyone's got any questions, comments, hit me up on Twitter afterwards. I'll put the link here. And if not, I'll see you all next time. Thanks for coming by.